Hello everybody, welcome to another great episode of Distilled, Brewed, and Reviewed. I am in my sipping den. I do everything here that has anything to do with alcohol. I review it all. Everything that has anything. Okay? And I do it because I can. I do it with half my taste buds tied behind my back to make things fair. And to keep it all straight, I have a playlist that is unmatched on YouTube. If you prove it, if you look through it, my playlist, you'll see everything I do, things you like. I do coffees, world famous coffees, and everything that has anything to do with alcohol, all broken down in playlists for you to find. And the first comment of every video I do, I pin because I have a link to the playlist that references whatever I am reviewing. In this case, bourbons. I have the whole lineup here of Smoke Wagon. I have the straight bourbon, small batch, uncut, unfiltered, known as barrel proof. I'm going to do various things with these, but first I'm going to do an individual review of each one. Old West, baby, out of Las Vegas. Yes. Yes, MGP. There's a big story. I'm not going to go into it too much, but Smoke Wagon out of Las Vegas actually bought everything they needed to make their own whiskey, to distill their own whiskey. And all was going fine. And then they bought some barrels, and MGP picked out, because MGP has 5 whiskey mash bills, bourbon mash bills. And they were going to, while theirs was maturing, source it from MGP. Then Las Vegas changed the rules, and they couldn't do it. They either had to make it all there or all MGP. They couldn't do both. If you know anything about liquor laws, anyway, they weren't about to. They had already paid for some what they considered fantastic barrels, and so they went with sourcing it. Now, they source it different spots at the warehouse. They have years all the way from 12 years, to down to 4 that they actually mingle and play with. They are a high rye. I think it's 60% corn, yes, 36% rye, and 4% malted barley. Some of the warehouses get a lot of humidity. That humidity adds water to the barrels. Those single barrels will be about 110 proof, as opposed to the higher 114 or more. But there's one in particular they like that usually try and use the 3rd and 4th floors. I believe they tried to, and they may still do a little, take some of those barrels and bring them to Las Vegas and mature them. But I know that they lost like 20% due to the Las Vegas heat and lack of humidity, and 20% you can't sustain that. Right? That's your whole barrel gone in 5 years, so that's not going to happen. Indiana, I know Kentucky, Indiana's not, obviously borders us, is about 5%. Indiana's probably about 4% a year lost, as opposed to 20. What they do though, they specialize in their blending of the barrels. They taste every single barrel, and they'll blend the different barrels. Now in the regular straight bourbon, they will blend, to 4 to 6 years. In this one, in a small batch, they'll go up and do even some of their 12 years to get a profile and really round out those flavors. They'll get all the benefit of what they call the newer bourbons, age-wise, and a lot of that rye and heat, and then the mellowness of the 12-year and so on around there, and they'll make what they consider the perfect blend. And then, of course, the single barrel, the uncut, unfiltered, is from one barrel that they taste and test and so on and so on. This one here is 100. Well, we're not doing that one today, so we won't get into it too much. Okay, we'll get into it though. Anyway, they go with the Western theme, right? Smoke Wagon, they have 2 pistols, right? On the little medallion, looks like a Morgan dollar, and that's what a Smoke Wagon is. It's a nickname for these pistols that won the Old West, all right? Beautiful bottles, these black bottles. This one has the gold medallion, this one has a black. This one was this little special edition for Christmas. They also did a little special bottle for Halloween. They have the crossed pistols on all the tops of these. Just an attractive, beautiful looking bottle. It really is. It's tall, it's beautiful. This one here has the gold, black with the gold Smoke Wagon. It's got a Latin sayings on it. It says something about drink for, for tomorrow we may be dead or something like that. It's just a cool concept. But there's been a lot of buzz about this, and I had a hard time finding them. I found the no, I didn't. Jeff, a gentleman of distinction to this channel, actually found it and loaned me the straight. I did finally find it, and then finally over time I was able to get all three. So let's try it. Let's see here. 100 proof. Yeah. Not bonded, but 100 proof. Nevada H&C Distilling Company. I think they make a Silver Dollar Vodka, which may be, if I'm not mistaken, filtered through silver. Right? They're going all out. So this is a mix of all the bourbons from 4 to 12. All right. So small batch. Straight, so you know it's at least 4. You have to, with bourbon, the youngest one you use has to be the one on the label. So if it's a straight bourbon whiskey, it has to be at least 4 years old. If it's less than 4 years old, it has to have an age statement. This doesn't have an age statement, so the youngest whiskey they're using here is 4. These are all non-chill filtered. Okay, so they didn't take any of the oil out. That's what chill filtering is. They take the oil out so that it doesn't ever get cloudy when it gets cold. But oil's fat and fat's flavor, so they left it all in. It's going to have a nice mouthfeel. A lot of buzz about this now. You ever have a high rye like this? It's, 36. A lot of them are around 18. Standard kind of for bourbon. That's what Old Forester is. That's what Angel's Envy is. A lot of them are like 72 corn, 18% rye, 10% malted barley, 36, double the rye. But it's got that older whiskey in here too. That's a nice color, man. It really does. It's not gonna be sweet like a. It does have an underlying sweetness, but not like where it'd be a lot of corn. 70-80% corn, 60% corn. So you've got to remember with rye bread, right? It's spicy. It's hot. It'll throw a lot of spiciness, and I mean not only pepper, but to the cinnamons and the baking type spices. That's what rye will put out a lot of times. And that is what I'm getting. Getting some dried fruit out of this. Most notably coming from the older whiskeys, of course. It's getting a little more oxidized. Some cherry I got out of this. Some raisin. Prune, those kind of fruits. And all the baking spices that you kind of mingled in there. And a pepper. Not as much oak as you would think. I mean, it's oaky, but it's not crazy oaky, which is good. I don't like it over. Anyway, cheers. Those of you who are not new here know that I always take an acclimation sip. I never judge anything on the first sip, ever. So, acclimate myself to this whiskey. Actually use the whiskey to numb the pain receptors in my mouth so that all the rest of these will be smooth and I'll be able to get all the flavor out of them. If you're getting a burn every time you're drinking whiskey, you're not getting the full flavor. And although you can acclimate yourself over time by sipping it over a long period of time, I just did it real quick in 10 seconds. It's a nice little hack that I use. So let's go in for the taste now. A lot of hype about this. I waited a long time to get it. Hell, I went to another state looking for it, couldn't find it. A far away one. I'm in Kentucky. I'm in the Napa Valley of bourbon. Right? I was on a little trip to New Jersey and I looked for it because I knew they had it before we got it. I didn't find it, but I got it now. It does have that nice mouthfeel due to the beautiful eggs on it, to the fact that they don't chill filter it. Nice proof, the 100, not bonded, but nice 100 proof solid. And I'm getting, man, the taste kind of confirms what I was smelling. I am getting a pepper. I'll just say black pepper, that's what most people. A tinge of sweetness followed by the pepper. And not the pepper, not to be confused like an alcohol heat, just a spiciness. That nutmeg and that cinnamon, for me, is coming out in this particular bottle, this particular blend. And the dry fruits. Of course, I pick out fruits. I can pick them out, man. So when you start getting dry fruits, what I mean by dry fruits, you know, raisins, prunes, just like a bag of dry fruits. Not like sometimes in bourbon I'll get apricot and peaches fresh. This is more the dried and the darker, the raisins, the plums, the prunes, the dried cherry. And surprisingly, not a lot of oaky tannins. So the wood's not that bad. And I'm not getting the bitterness that you usually get from the wood, from the tannins that come out of it. So therefore it's in that sense smooth. It is flavorful, it is good. Aftertaste has a little bitterness to it. Let's try this with a little splash of water. Let's see what we can do here. I didn't use much. A couple drops, that's all you need. It's diminished the pepper. It's enhanced the sweetness a little bit. And it's brought out the dry fruit even stronger. Let's see what it does with the taste. Well, that's funny. Because in the taste, because you can start to smell what I'm about to say, it really is like fresh cracked black pepper now. I can taste that underlying sweetness. It's not sweet by any means, but it's enhanced the hair. It has enhanced the sweetness. And the fruit is lightened up to go from dark to maybe a little more fresh. Don't put too much. You can always add it. I'm so used to drinking high proof whiskeys. I kind of like that. Everything that goes with that. I think I'm going to love this uncut, unfiltered. Just that's beautiful. We'll get to that here in a minute. This is good. Now, when I do later a side-by-side with all three, I really want to compare this right next to the straight and see if it's worth the extra. Because the straight goes for about, well, should be 30, and then this here small batch 50, and then 70 goes back. But I think now, the way it is with the scarcity, and this becoming one of the crazy bourbons, it's probably at least $10 more per bottle. I don't know. Every area is going to be different. Every store is going to be different. So I don't know. You know more about where you are. And I'm sure that's low now. The price is high. That was the original. For 30, that's a hell of a bottle. For 50, that's good. And 50 is usually my limit. 50, now remember, this is source now. This is engine. Of course, 70 for a high proof, uncut, unfiltered single barrel. This one here is 57.21. So over 114 proof. Yeah. Cask strength. So, you know, it's all relative. Anyway, I think it's worth the hype. But I'll blind taste all three of them, and then I'll put them against some other bourbons over here. Blind taste it, and we'll really see what this can do. So, thank you for being here, everybody, and I will see you all on the next one. Yeehaw. Get ready for that high proof. If you're still here, appreciate it. Give me a sub. Thank you.